What up, what up, world? It's your boy Jaystar back again with the top five at wide receiver for the week 11 slate, y'all. So, like I said through the last three videos, y'all, we're going with the top five. We still have, like I said, as we always do with fantasy points there, but I've been going over it with completion percent added to it because that completion percent, man, has shown for the last 3 weeks, man. I've been trying to play my lineups with that putting that in play with my thoughts of when I'm building my lineups, and it's really been playing out way better, man, since I've been doing that. So I told y'all I was doing something different, I think about 3 weeks ago, and I said if it ends up working out for me and things like that, I would kind of include that in my notes and my videos and stuff like that to help y'all out. And I know the top fives have been doing well anyways, like the people that have been saying about the top fives before have been in winning lineups already. But I feel like to make more of us hit on these top fives, completion percent does help a lot. I gave y'all the different percent for running backs and things like that in the running back video, but we're gonna get into this, man, with the top five here at receiver. And at number five this week, let's see who we got at number five, man. It looks like we got Chris Olave, man. Completion percent is actually pretty high here. What we got here? Completion percent for Olave is 6, and completion percent is what the Rams are. So we see that his targets have been pretty high here. They've been trying to hit him on big plays all the time. Since completion percent is high, maybe this week then we hit on 7 pass catches, and we look at a nice 20 something fantasy points for him. And maybe he gets into the end zone. We saw, I want to say, almost every receiver did well for the Cardinals, and they had a backup quarterback out there. So definitely, that's what I'm trying to say. That completion percent, goes to show right there. Because, I mean, Rondell Moore was hitting with a backup quarterback, as well as Hopkins had a good game. So, yeah, Chris Olave is in there because of that reason, man. Like I told y'all, this completion percent thing, I've been tracking it for the last 3 weeks, and it's been actually coming through. So, that's why Olave makes it at number 5 on the list. At number 4, though, on this list, let's see who we got at number 4, man. Okay, so we got CeeDee Lamb playing. Let's see. I know fantasy points wise is huge, but 7th in completion percent here. So it's probably going to catch most of his passes, and he's getting all the biggest targets amounts for this team, as well as the biggest plays, as well as looked at for all the red zone with Dak, man. He's just looking for him like crazy when it comes to the red zone area or touchdown area, period. And I definitely feel like he's going to get a touchdown in this game. Going against Jefferson, I feel like everybody's playing Jefferson, trying to have a big game against him because he's trying to prove that he's the best receiver. So all the receivers that are good receivers are trying to show up as well. And as long as you staying away from kind of, Patrick Peterson, you definitely can do well. And CeeDee Lamb lines up in the slot, doesn't really ever have to line up against Patrick Peterson because he's going to be in the slot. And basically, he's not going to be out wide. So could be in for another 100-yard game, at least a touchdown, at least one. Depending on how big of a shootout though this game becomes, like how the Green Bay game ended up being a shootout. I didn't expect it to be a shootout. So, we see right there what happened there, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. So you could be in for something like that because the yards is definitely there in this game. They do kind of hold off touchdowns pretty well, but I do think since he's in the slot and performing, what I want to say, no, I mean, being in the slot and staying away from Patrick Peterson, I feel like that's why he can actually get maybe 2 touchdowns again in this game too as well. So makes it in the top 5, man, for those reasons. And then at number 3 this week, we got, let's see who we got here. So it looks like it's going to be AJ Brown. But it also, I would say you can also toss in because they're like equally getting touches, amount of targets. So it's AJ Brown or Devontae Smith, really, y'all. So you can go with either one, whoever you think is really going to hit. AJ Brown probably will line up sometimes with Gilmore, but if he, moves around to the other side of the field, he won't be with Gilmore and he can have success on that side of the field. So I definitely feel like he's still in play to have a big game. And also AJ Brown is such a strong, big receiver. We know he could just, even maul somebody like a Gilmore, even though I know Gilmore has shown up, some games, but it doesn't mean that he's not acceptable to still have a big play caught on him or something like that. So, and I do expect Eagles to try to bounce back pretty big. And I definitely think AJ Brown will probably be a part of that bounce back. Completion percent here though was, what was the percent here? They're 5th highest in completion percent. So you're looking at, if he gets 8 targets, it might be 7 to 6 of them caught. And even with 6, we've seen just with 6 alone, he's went for 42 fantasy points. So something like that could be definitely in play there for AJ Brown, and that's why he makes this list, man. At number 3, at number 2 though, we have our guy Mooney, man, at 5,400. A number 1 receiver for 5,400, man, and going against, what is this, second highest in completion percent, y'all. So we looking at, if he can get 8 targets in this game, we looking at, yeah, 7 of them could be completed then. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. So I really feel like this completion percent really does work really well. Because I know Miami is pretty high in completion percent. I know Detroit is pretty up there in completion percent, so definitely, going against the second highest though in the league here, we can be in for, Mooney's probably best game, man, because not only, completion percent is high against Atlanta, yards is also high against Atlanta, touchdowns is up there against Atlanta. So if he could hit on some of these big plays that we seen him try to go after, like a 36-yard bomb, 40-yard bomb, it could be that with a touchdown. We looking at an instant, of like 10 fantasy points instantly, 10 to 11 fantasy points. But then if he can get that 100-yard bonus for us, we can be in for a big, huge game for 5,400 for Mooney, man. So that's why he makes it at number 2, man. At number 1 this week, though, who is my number 1 receiver this week? We have Courtland Sutton, y'all. And come on now, like, we know this is Russell's favorite target, man. He was not really trying to throw to Judy that much. I know he started kind of heating up a little bit with Judy. Judy getting hurt though here. I kind of feel like he probably ends up not playing this week. But we'll see what happens, when the injury report comes out. But if he doesn't play, man, Sutton's in for a huge day. He's already had a pretty good game against the Raiders the last time. I believe he got in for a touchdown against them the last time. And the reason why is because the Raiders are number 1 at completion percent. So if you're thinking, the targets that he's getting hasn't been really hitting, like 9-3, 11-6 is decent. 11-5 is all right, But if we can get 11 and he catch 8, we're probably in for a big game from Sutton. If we get 11 and he catch 10 or 9, you know what I mean? We're in probably for 100 yards and a touchdown game for Sutton. So, and that's what we're looking at when you're going against the number 1 completion percent. And that's why, and $6,000 too for a number 1 receiver that's going to get you 11 targets against the Raiders. Yeah, I would take that any day. I really feel like, and I know, like I said, Russell hasn't been hitting, but this is number 1 completion percent. Russell had his best game against this team because of that. So because of that stat right there. So be in for, to put in some Sutton in your lineups, man, to hit big this week. And let's see. So who just missed a cut this week? Let me see who I got here. It looks like, oh man. And okay, so I would say, to me, who missed the cut would have to be Higgins. Completion percent isn't the best completion percent. It's crazy because, even with injuries and stuff like that to their backfield for Pittsburgh, they actually have had, I guess, their backups, at cornerbacks and safeties and stuff have been pretty good. At least they've played well. So, but they definitely do give up fantasy points still, though. We know that. Like, we know Pittsburgh has given up a lot of fantasy points to receivers. So he still could definitely have a big game here with Higgins. But it is a rivalry, and I usually kind of steer away sometimes from rivalries and things like that, especially when the team is at home. Because usually the home defense steps up and plays hard, and I know they are going to play hard, but if the targets are going to get over double digits for Higgins, I feel like he definitely can still hit big, and we know how he can moss a lot of cornerbacks, man, because he has that 6'4" height and athleticism to jump over them. So definitely you want to toss in Higgins in your lineups this week. Definitely give it a shot, man. But he just missed the cut, like I told y'all, for those reasons. And I'm out, man. I hope y'all enjoyed that, man. I hope y'all hit big this week, y'all. Cash, man. Cash that big money. Good luck to all of y'all. It's your boy Jaystar, and I'm out. Peace, y'all.